seconds. That's my bad. Anyway, so The Last of Us Online was great, but Naughty Dog canceled it after Bungie explained what it takes to make live service games.
Damn it, Bungie. I mean,
We'll get into it. Former Sony Interactive Entertainment executive Shuhei Yoshida had commented on Naughty Dog's canceled Last of Us game, saying that he played it and it was great. They stopped development on Last of Us Online in December of 2023, saying it would have needed to put all of its resources into post-launch content for years to come, an approach that would have severely impacted its ability to develop full single-player games. We're saying, quote, "We realize you've been anticipating news around the project that have been called The Last of Us Online. There's no easy way to say this. We've made the incredibly difficult decision to stop development on that game." And then, during this time, they said, hey, ramping up to full production, we realized, hey, we can't do this. What Shuhei said when he was on Sacred Symbols Plus, Last Stand Media's venture for this, the idea for The Last of Us Online came from Naughty Dog, and they really wanted to make it. But Bungie explained to them what it takes to make a live service game, and Naughty Dog realized, oops, we can't do that. If we do it, we can't make Intergalactic the Heretic profit. So that was the lack of foresight. And then there was also, hey, guess what? Layoffs and scaled back development of Last of Us Online due to review from Bungie. In October of 2023, they put the game on ice, and well, there you go. So, yeah.
Honestly, I think it was a smart decision. Definitely. I mean, Bungie knows, a thing or two, even if they make missteps here and there with their live service and their community. But getting expertise, thoughts on things, and realizing, oh shit, okay, we want to make this awesome thing, but I think it sounds like we're getting over our head.
Also,
all right, we're gonna shut it down.
Also, I'm gonna be real. Not Naughty Dog. Bungie is a constant fuck up machine. But
I was giving him the benefit of the doubt.
But
I was trying to be nice.
But let's call it what it is with that. Is like they're a constant fuck up machine. The thing with that is this is before we knew that. Before we knew they were a constant fuck up machine. And also before Sony knew that they were a constant fuck up machine and put them basically in charge of making all of their live service games, which is working out great so far because you have 2 successes and a bunch of wasted money and canceled games. Good job, boys. But yeah, I think this is smart for a lot of reasons. I really enjoyed Last of Us 1 multiplayer. It was a lot of fun, but it's not something I wanted to come back to all the time. And also, when it comes to making a live service game, it's not just you can take developers who have never done it and be like, hey, make a live service game now. It requires people who know what they're doing or people who learn to know what they're doing. And that takes a lot of time and effort. That's why you see a lot of these live service projects helmed by single-player studios fail. That's kind of what happened with Suicide Squad. You took a single-player studio and said, turn this live service, and they're like, okay, we'll figure that out, and just never did. So that's part of it. And then I think the other part of it is, yeah, if you're, I would much rather have Naughty Dog make a new IP single-player experience. I'd much have them rather make that.
Which, I mean, is their bread and butter.
Yeah, I mean, they've made some good multiplayers over the years. Don't get me wrong. I really enjoyed Uncharted and Last of Us multiplayers. They were really good.
Oh,
yeah. But my problem is just is that really something that we're gonna see for a long period of time? And is this gonna be something people really come back to? No, not really. I'd rather you just make another single player game. And Naughty Dog has the chops to make a hell of a single player game still. I know a lot of people, for probably kind of shitty, disingenuous reasons, did not like that Heretic Prophet trailer. And people were there were very mixed opinions about Last of Us 2, and I get it. I think The Last of Us 2 is probably the best playing game they ever made. But I think they effectively told their story backwards. I think it is a good story told backwards. And spoilers for Last of Us 2, if you've never played it. Everybody, it's been 5 years almost. All right.
Yeah, but what about the season 2?
I mean, cool, dude. What do you? Okay.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying we are covering that as well.
Yeah, yes. So
And
we
a
are.
lot of people haven't actually, a lot of non-gamers haven't actually seen or played the game.
If a non-gamer listens to this show for some reason, please speak out, comment on the YouTube video, email us, bronsonf@supergamecraft.com.
Just no carrier pigeons. I'm tired of cleaning up the mess.
Yes, just something, because I want to know why. Anyway, but the story follows, starts out, Ellie, Joel gets murdered by this girl named Abby and her crew. You play as Ellie trying to get vengeance. It cuts to and then you play as Abby, and you find out as you're playing as Abby, oh, Ellie was murdering all, there's these people in this group, and like dealing with all, and like seeing the fallout of what was happening with Ellie, while also, just doing her story to try and do a bunch of other stuff going on. I'm going to try and spoil as little as I can while doing this, everybody. The problem with that story is by the time you play as Abby, you do not give a shit about Abby. Because you've had an entire game and a half of Ellie. You've had an entire game and a half of this person that you're really attached to and really like. Ellie's a great character. So when you get to Abby, she is very much like new to you, and it's kind of weird, and you find out the doctor that Joel killed was her dad. And you're like, oh, that's kind of understandable she did that, but I kind of don't give a shit because I'm already attached to Joel and Ellie. And then when that rolls around, and then like you have all these friends that Abby has, but you're not really attached to any of them all that much. So like the fact that Ellie murks them all, and you already know that going in, so you're like, oh, I'm not going to get attached. Why should I get attached to this person? I know Ellie kills her in like 2 seconds, after this happens. Well, what they should have done is they should have said, no, we're doing a new protagonist in this game. And they should have opened it up with the scene where, you have Abby and her dad, and then the scene where you find out Joel killed Abby's dad. And then you start the game out on a quest to murder Joel. And then you murder Joel in the first 4 hours, play the rest of the game like normal, and then you do a surprise flip to playing as Ellie and do her half of the game instead. It makes 1,000 times more sense. It has 1,000,000 times more impact. It will actually give more impact when you're killing, Abby's friends. And then also they just need to make Abby a more likable character. Because, like, she kind of sucks. I'm playing through that game currently with my girlfriend because she never played it and she wants to be ready for the TV show. And she's like, I kind of hate her. And I'm like, oh yeah, she's a terrible person. Or at least partially a terrible person. Like, she does some really shady shit that's kind of inexcusable. And not like in a for survival way, like Ellie, like in a I'm a bad person way. Which, hey, that brings us to our next news story. Unless you have some more to say about Last of Us multiplayer, sorry.
No, I mean I enjoyed it for what they did in the first game. I to be honest, I think I enjoyed the Uncharted better, but I think it was a wise decision ultimately because it gave them more resources to work on their single player, which not kicking their multiplayer, but they do way better with their storyline than
Yeah,
their single player.
I always felt that Naughty Dog's multiplayers, be it Uncharted 2, 3, 4, or Last of Us, always felt like these are nice little value add-ons. These are fun to do once I finish up the campaign. And it like ignore them after like 1 or 2 weeks. So, it's a shame that Last of Us multiplayer is not around because, hey, that was Bum Fights the video game, as I always called it. You murder someone with a broken bottle. That's Bum Fights the video game. Anyway, hey, we got our last news story here though, which is, hey, Last of Us Season 2. That has got a release date. Sure does. Last of Us Season 2 has been confirmed for April 13th at 9 at night Eastern Standard Time, as well as streaming on Max. It will run for 7 episodes, and they have shown off the new posters. It is set 5 years after the first one, and it'll pick up same place the game does, Ellie and Joel living with Tommy in Montana. Though back then in the game it was Wyoming. Wyoming? Missouri?
Minnesota? No,
Jackson's in
Miami.
Missouri. I'm pretty sure Jackson's in Missouri. Anyway, they showed off some posters. You get to see Abby here. Every path has its price. Ellie, and then Joel. You want to know what I'm actually kind of looking forward to most out of this show?
What?
The people who never played the game and are going to be shocked by the Joel murder in the first 2 seconds of the show.
Especially since it's Pedro Pascal and everyone loves him.
Yes, Pedro Pascal is amazing. Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, it's gonna be very sad when I watch it as well.
Oh yeah, it was sad as fucking came, dude. They beat him with an inch of his life and then they cave his head in. That shit was so fucked up. But imagine how it's gonna look on TV. Right?
I mean, HBO's doing it. They can go as far as they want.
Yeah, that's one of the great parts about HBO, right?
Yeah. I don't know if you've watched The Penguin, but off of that Pattinson Batman movie, that was an amazing show.
I heard it was great.
Doing its own thing.
I heard it was great. The last show that I really got into on Max that wasn't animated was Peacemaker. I loved Peacemaker.
Loved it. Actually, that's one of my goals at one point is to do the cosplay just so I could do that intro dance.
You better, and you little teaser. He's working on a cosplay series for us. That should definitely be a video of you make that cosplay, and then you do the dance, the whole dance to set to the song at the end. There you go.
I think I could manage that at some point.
Yeah, that's a winner idea right there. Boy howdy. Anyway. Yeah. You're excited for the TV show? I know. How big of a Last of Us fan are you actually? Where does it rank on your
So
your
I still need to finish the second game.
Oh well, now I feel bad.
You didn't. No. You didn't spoil much because I followed enough of it. I've watched a lot of other streamers play it. I know what the story is.
Okay,
I knew before I was getting into the game because it was already spoiled for me. It wasn't one of those games that I wanted to discover it myself. It was a very story-driven game. I knew exactly how popular it was. I just want to finish it for myself. I got pretty far into it, so obviously I already knew about the big spoiler. And it's a fun game. I enjoy it. The combat is pretty much what I enjoy most about it, and that's fine. Story wise, yeah, no, Abby is meh.
I would say meh at best. Most people actively dislike her. I agree with you. I think she is meh, but like my girlfriend was just like, do we ever go back to playing Ellie? And I'm like, in like the last chapters. And she's like, oh. It's like, yeah, I don't know what to tell you.
I try not to be overly hateful towards characters. Like, I know there's a character in the new Dragon Age is getting a lot of hate, and
Oh, that was
what
dumb
are
though.
what
That
what
was a
what are the yeah, but like one of the streamers that I watch or like content creators said it best. It's like, look, she's got the same personality as Brie Larson. Like if she was written better to be able to relate to better, that would be cool. She was just the character was written in a way that makes people dislike it. It's not what she is, it's how they were written, and
a,
everything that every character says, this character takes as an insult, just like Brie Larson. Like a
right.
lot of people don't like her for the same reasons, and that is a very valid reason that why
I
people don't like that character.
I agree. The problem around that game though is that's a discussion that was entirely lost. Because 90% of the discussion was people screaming, this is woke, this is a non-binary character. We've never seen the outside of a basement. I mean, that's what it
Well,
was. You know.
I mean, I didn't play it. I'm not going to play it. Dragon Age has always been one of those games. It's like, okay, I mean, like, I get the following. I played a few of them. I'd rather play Baldur's Gate. Baldur's Gate is just
I mean,
better. Champions of Northra, no,
Norath.
Champions of
Yeah, Norath.
Norath. I'd rather play that. That one was a great
I
game. Uh,
I I think that like Dragon Age, the first one, was an amazing game. I think that first Dragon Age game was incredible. I think that it got progressively worse after that. Um, my problem with the most recent one is like I have such a hard time looking at criticism of it though because of like the surrounding idiot mob culture war around it. Like just and I'm just so and this happens every time that like a game with a female protagonist, a game with a protagonist that's a person of color, a game that is doing something different than the series as a whole has done in the past. I'm just like, guys, sometimes it's not a woke conspiracy. Sometimes the writing is just bad.
yeah.
Okay. All right.
Typically, that's what I bring it down to. I mean, I had the same issue with the Star Wars fans for Acolyte. There were some
Didn't
good
watch it.
parts that I liked Acolyte, but at the same point, I'm just like, quit forcing this stuff into it and just write a good story and make it where with the universe. Stop shoehorning in cameos. You don't need to do that. That's what irritated me the most about it is shoehorning cameos of characters that weren't part of that era. Like, don't do that. Don't do that.
We should have a rule on this show that every time someone brings up Pokemon or Star Wars, I have to take a shot because for me, it's like, man, the fact that y'all still have hope is the
But
most
there is a
admirable
lot of good
quality.
things coming that they've done too. I mean, I absolutely
do
love
you
the Boba Fett.
I wish I had my oxygen mask so I could be like, he's taking a hit of copium. The cope is real. Um. Anyway. Oh lordy. But man, I like I said, I used to be a huge Star Wars fan. I'm just too much, too much. Like
Well, they still have too much Zelda,
yeah, one Zelda game every like 5 years.
and that's
Awesome.
all everyone ever talks about. Actually, I'll give you the argument on Pokemon. Pokemon, it really just is Pokemon, and a lot of their
Well,
smaller stuff does better than their like. Oh, this is what we're doing. This is to be groundbreaking. No, it's not.
My problem with like Pokemon is like the fact that it is uh my problem with Pokemon is like the fact that it is literally the most profitable media franchise ever. It is the most profitable, but it also, you want to talk about a franchise that does nothing new at all. I am someone who does not give a shit about narrative changes, really. I care about setting a little bit, but generally I care about gameplay and mechanics changes. It's why Zelda and Mario never bothered me. They change a ton of mechanics, they innovate on gameplay a lot, they evolve over time. Pokemon has barely evolved gameplay-wise since the
which is
90s,
ironic.
brother.
That is
Um,
so ironic too. On a
uh,
game based around Pocket Monster evolution,
yes.
it cannot evolve.
Um, yeah, and we went into an episode on that on a couple episodes back, with me and Duncan about why that is. You know, as most of the problems of the game industry, it goes back to yo dog capitalism. Uh, anyway, that was the show, everybody. We'll be back tomorrow. Tomorrow's the late show, 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And we hope you have yourself a good night. Bye.
See ya.